Today, Charts Today comes to you from Singapore. I'm here seeing clients for a few days, and I just thought I'd come up here, have a quick swim before we go and look at the charts.
Okay, so I've had my swim and I'm back at my desk. It's quite warm here today in Singapore. Do remember that you can just get Charts Today every day at chartstoday.com. And if you register, you'll get an email. So you'll, as soon as it's out and uploaded, you'll get it first. So just register at chartstoday.com. And you'll get these recordings every day. And do tell people, please spread the word and like them on YouTube. So here we see the dollar index. This move to new 4-year lows, really significant. That now means that we're, this selling thrust, uninterrupted selling thrust, this little pullback actually locked that thrust target, and now we've got the downside. And if we look at the 60-minute, that has really still stayed below the cloud. So we're not out of the woods there yet. But if you're trading euro or dollar, you want to be looking at the even shorter term charts. So no big surprises there. And if we see the euro, that's just really rocketing. And in fact, I posted a chart on LinkedIn this morning of euro rupee. That's up 20% in a year. So as much as we talk about tariffs and trade deals, the currency moves can be very significant indeed. And again, the 60-minute chart, upside target given and met quite quickly, literally in a few days. So that's quite key. Japanese yen, of course, there's been intervention, and we're still on our way to the target. That's dollar falling, yen rising, and so that's really quite key. And we've seen a lot of movement in currencies because of everything that's going on in the dollar. Looking at Bitcoin, we see here that we are just still teetering below the cloud, waiting to see if we break below this 84,000 level and activate this downside target. And if we look at the short-term chart for Bitcoin, we see we've got this little recovery, but this is consistent. We're below the cloud on the medium term. We're having small relief rallies short term. So big moves with the trend, smaller counter trend moves against it. And if you're trading Bitcoin, watch the 1-minute targets. And of course, you can do that on TradingView as well. It's all there. This is copper, by the way, those targets met. So you can look at Bitcoin on TradingView, and you can track all your charts there. So really quite key. Coming back to the Nasdaq, it was up 1/3%. The Mag 7 had a better night of it, really. We had good results out from Microsoft. They were up 0.2%, not enough to really change the picture on the daily chart. We are still below the cloud. So, and Meta again came out with quite good results, but not enough to really move the price. So we're not seeing big surprises to the upside. One we did see quite interestingly was Nvidia activating a new upside target there. So that is significant. Of course, we need to make a new high and really want to get back above the cloud and watch that 60-minute chart for the targets as well. We can see here we're still not making new highs. So, I still temper that view. Tesla came out with slightly disappointing results. They were actually, sales were down for the first time, and we have got this downside target in play at the moment. We look at the 60-minute chart, that also has downside targets. So really, it's a case of not looking great. And that's still consistent with most of the Mag 7, to be honest. So the Nasdaq looking a little bit better as a result. And of course, we have activated this upside target on the Nasdaq just recently. So still not making new highs, and a new high would be more bullish. The S&P 500, the future up this morning, so it's just up 0.2%. But again, we're running roughly sideways, underperforming Asian and European markets, that's for sure. The FTSE up 0.25%, and you see when you look at this chart, we are still pushing towards targets. The same with the DAX, looking stronger in Europe, not quite as good as the FTSE there. And if we look at Asia, well, Japan's going mad. even despite the currency and the bond yield story. And the Hang Seng, we talked about the breakout yesterday, that is continuing. So really quite significant there. That's a sideways move and a break and a target that structurally looks much, much better. And of course, you can go to the shorter term charts, and you can do this on your TradingView or on your Bloomberg as well. So really quite interesting there. If we look at bond yields, the big story here is still Japan, of course, and we are seeing on the 10-year that we do have a little mini downside target, but not yet activated. The big story really is the long dated in Japan, and here we're seeing the 40-year. We've got an upside target and we've got a downside target. Which one will activate first? If we activate the upside one, that will turn green. If we activate the downside one, that will turn red. But the trend is very clearly up. So it'd be really a hard call. I just put the cloud on there. You can see, whilst we're above the trend, you would discount the downside. Even if we do activate it, you wouldn't expect a downside target to be reached in a strong uptrend. And we've got targets much, much higher. So really quite scary there. And if we look at the chart for the US index, again, this is looking pretty bad. And we've got very big upside targets there, one as high as 10%. All right, you've got to really focus on the ones that are closer, 5 and 6%. But it is just a sign that these big buying thrusts are producing upside targets. So when we're seeing, Germany just creeping higher, so it's really quite interesting there. We've got an upside target just waiting to be activated. So we're watching that with interest as well. So coming back to some of the other things we're looking at, we've seen Brent crude looking very strong. Of course, talk of potential war in the Middle East, the US striking Iran, that's having an impact on the oil price. We still need to get above 70. We're sitting at 69.50 at the moment, but we have been bullish in our morning call out to energy clients each day for the last for this week, really. Looking at US nat gas, this is a really interesting situation. We've got basically, if I look at the daily chart for the nat gas contract, it finished at around 650 yesterday, but of course we're now on a new contract back at 385. So there's a really big roll adjustment needed on this chart, and I might try and record a session on rolling just so you see how it's done. But that is a really significant chart, so we've got to really roll adjust that. Gold, of course, is still looking very, very strong, up. Just making new highs, smashed 5,000 and just heading for the moon. And many of you know that I'm a big gold bull, just purely because of the charts. Upside targets all reached and met. Notice what it needs to happen for a new upside target. You have to have a pullback. You have to have a run, a pullback to lock the target, another run, a pullback to lock the target. So we will potentially see a run, a pullback, and a new target. That's on the daily and on the 60-minute, and then on the daily we will expect to see the same. We're just waiting for that pullback. You have to go to other time frames and other unit sizes in order to get targets, but it really is very, very bullish indeed. And we just watch the shorter term targets for any pullbacks. Targets all met there as well. Platinum still on its way to its target, given we were 30% higher, we're now 24% higher on that target. So still really significant there for platinum as well. Notice that triangle pattern there, move into the pattern, move out. That's consistent with what the target's telling us as well. Last of all, just taking a look at some of the metals. They've been going mad. We've seen copper. Certainly that's been hitting new targets and really has jumped. If we look at that's up 4%, and again activated it. See that little pullback? That's a thrust, giving us a new target, another 5% higher. And if we go on the 60-minute chart, we've got two targets there, like a cluster really. So that's really looking strong. Again, you can look at that on your TradingView. We've got copper is one of my charts here on TradingView. So it's really significant that you can actually just do it there as well. And we are seeing big moves in other metals such as aluminium, and we're also seeing it in zinc, and so really significant that we're seeing these moves. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. Bye for now.